This is Eric Dye, and today we are speaking with Robin Emiliani, co-founder and partner of Catalyst Marketing Agency, a full-service Denver marketing agency that develops and executes marketing programs that grow revenue. Robin, welcome.
Hi, Eric. Thanks for having me on.
And you're more than welcome and certainly appreciate your time. So marketers are increasingly held responsible for the services that they provide. Is this what you're seeing on your end?
It is, but I think it depends on what role you play and where you work. I personally, throughout my career, I've been accountable for the work that I've had to do. And over the years, typically I was measured on the number of leads that I provided, and not just the number of leads, but also the quality of those leads. But over the years, I've discovered that this was a bit of an anomaly. And my partners have told me stories about agencies and their lack of accountability. So recently, I interviewed a marketing candidate, actually for a client. They were hiring someone and asked us to help vet the client for them. And this particular candidate told me she had never been held accountable for any metrics within her former role. And I was taken aback by this. I was stunned because I thought all positions within an organization should be held accountable for something, but apparently not. But I do believe that there is a shift happening. So there was a good article last year in Forbes that cited a gentleman named Michael Farmer, who wrote the book Madison Avenue Manslaughter. And this particular book talks about agencies being a dying breed for a lot of different reasons. But he's quoted in this Forbes article as saying, agencies continue to cling to the notion that clients want creativity and service, but what clients really want is shareholder value. Agency executives have been completely deaf to the economics, which I find this statement to be so powerful. And I'm learning that in this industry, what Michael is saying is true.
So, Robin, what should marketers be measuring here?
Well, let's start with the basics. So in the simplest of terms, there are three stages of the sales funnel. So there's the awareness phase, the consideration phase, and then lastly, the decision phase. So take a look at your systems and see where your data lies. So, and look at things like how many people are coming to your website, and then how many people are actually engaging or converting. And which would mean something like, how many people are downloading your ebook or an infographic or some sort of asset, or signing up for coupons or your monthly newsletter. And then how many of these people actually purchase your product or service? And then how many marketing interactions did it take for them to do that? And please be aware of vanity metrics, things like impressions or the number of likes or the number of followers or the number of page views. While these are important metrics to track, keep in mind what matters. And what matters is tracking the leads that turn into closed business. So, and then when it comes to laying out your report, use a company naming convention, what the terminology you guys are all already using. And then if you don't have one, typical nomenclature for companies is often starting with a marketing accepted lead, then a marketing qualified lead, a sales accepted lead, a sales qualified lead, and then, of course, closed business. So, but a good marketer is able to track their influence all the way to the close of the sale.
I would be curious, are there tools that can help marketers track all this information?
Oh, yes, and this is vital. So there are many different types of tools that you can use to track. First and foremost is probably a marketing automation system and most critical. There's also CRM systems that you can use to help. And then you can also gather a lot of data from your web platform or your social media platform. But I do caution that these systems, they do need to be integrated so that you're seeing from the first touch point you make to the final close of a sale, that all of that data is being aggregated. Otherwise, you're going to be in data hell, and you're going to be manually grabbing info from all different types of systems at all different stages of the funnel, which can, of course, can lead to errors.
And Robin, what recommendations would you make to a marketer?
Probably persevere and don't settle. So I know that reporting can be daunting, but even if the reporting feels impossible, just start simply with the steps I talked about before, with tracking the 3 major stages of the sales funnel, and create this funnel from the first engagement to the close of the sale. And really, you can even do this in Excel initially if you don't have the systems to be able to track all this. So before my agency life, so in my client-side career, I did this because my company's systems weren't integrated. So one of the companies that I work for. So if I can do it, so can you. And trust me, if you don't hone this skill as a marketer, it will break your career.
And I certainly would agree with you there. Now, how can one get help? Where should they begin in the process?
So start with your systems. So take a look at those. They probably have out-of-the-box reports that you can use that are tracking these different stages of the sales cycle. And then if your systems don't have this functionality, there are lots of reporting templates online that you can download and use. And then if you're really feeling lost, there's agencies like Catalyst that specialize in reporting and measurement.
If you would, Robin, tell us more about that. Catalyst Marketing Agency certainly seems to be breaking the marketing agency mold with measurement and accountability. Break that down, if you would, and get into that a little further.
Well, sure. I'm shocked that I have to claim that measurement and accountability is an attribute and a differentiator of our agency, but it is, because not every agency provides this service. But it is a standard offering that we provide our clients, and it's how we build trust with our clients so that we're showing them a return on their investment, and it's how we retain them and grow the relationship with them, because our wit and charm can only go so far.
Thank you, Robin, again for your time today. It certainly sounds like the marketing agency accountability landscape has changed, and it's great that your team is able to help clients measure and track their marketing programs so they can prove market growth and a return on their marketing investment. Again, Robin, thanks for your time.
Thank you, Eric.